She texted her best friend, "Honestly, I'm settling until someone better comes along." I sent her a screenshot of her own message, left her house key under the mat, and blocked her number. She found out I was serious when she got home to an empty house. I, 28 male, just walked out on my girlfriend of 3 years. Not gonna lie, my hands are still shaking as I type this from my buddy's couch. So here's what went down. Yesterday afternoon, Veronica left her phone on the kitchen counter while she was in the shower. It buzzed with a text preview that said, "Tell me everything about last night," from her best friend Kelsey. Now, I'm not the type to snoop, but something about it felt off. Maybe it was because she'd been weird all week after her company's holiday party that I couldn't attend. I picked up the phone. Yeah, I know her passcode. We've been together 3 years. And opened the messages. What I saw made my stomach drop. The conversation went something like this. "Kelsey, so, did you finally talk to that guy from accounting?" "Girl, yes. His name is Marcus, and he's literally everything I've been missing. Tall, makes like 150K, drives a Tesla." "But what about your BF?" "Honestly, I'm settling until someone better comes along. He's sweet and pays half the rent, but that's about it. Marcus asked for my number and I'm definitely giving it to him Monday." "Kelsey, savage lol, but get that upgrade." There was more, but I'd seen enough. 3 years. 3 years of my life with someone who saw me as a placeholder, a rent subsidy with legs. I sat there for maybe 5 minutes, just staring at those words. Then something in me just clicked. No anger, no tears, just clarity. I screenshot the conversation and sent it to her from her own phone. Then I went to work. I grabbed 2 suitcases and packed everything I owned. My gaming setup, my clothes, my grandmother's recipe box she always made fun of, everything. Loaded it all into my truck in under an hour. The apartment was in her name, thank God, so I just had to handle the utilities that were in mine. I left her house key under the mat with a sticky note that said, "Your next placeholder can use this." Then I blocked her number, her socials, everything. Clean break. I'm crashing at my buddy Diego's place now. He didn't even ask questions when I showed up with my entire life in the back of my truck, just handed me a beer and pointed to the spare room. The funny part, I make 75K a year as a welder, not Tesla money, but I'm debt-free and have savings. I just don't flash it around. Meanwhile, she's drowning in student loans and credit card debt from trying to keep up with her bougie friends. I'm sure I'll hear from her somehow, but right now, I'm just relieved. Better to find out now than after a ring or kids. Anyone else ever just walk away like this? Update 1, holy crap, didn't expect this to blow up. Thanks for all the support, Reddit. Y'all kept me sane these past few days, so the entitlement has begun, folks. Buckle up. Since I blocked her everywhere, Veronica started getting creative. First, she tried calling from her work phone. I recognized the number and didn't answer. Then she got Kelsey to text me. I blocked her too. But yesterday she crossed a line. She showed up at my workplace. I'm a welder at a small fabrication shop, maybe 20 guys total. Very much a we're family kind of place. I'm working on a custom gate when I hear my boss Frank call out, "Hey, someone here to see you." I look up, and there's Veronica, dressed like she's going to a country club in her designer outfit, looking completely out of place among the sparks and metal dust. My coworkers are all staring because, well, she looks like she stepped out of a magazine and into the wrong movie. "Baby, we need to talk," she says, loud enough for everyone to hear. This is all a big misunderstanding. I just put down my welding torch and said, "No misunderstanding. You made yourself clear. Please leave. You can't just ghost me. We live together. What am I supposed to tell people?" Tell them the truth. You were settling, and I unsettled the situation. This is where it gets good. She starts raising her voice about how I overreacted to a private conversation and how I violated her privacy by looking at her phone. My coworker Jake actually laughed out loud at that one. Frank, bless him, stepped in. "Ma'am, this is a workplace. If he doesn't want to talk to you, you need to leave." She turned on him with this snippy tone. "Excuse me? I'm having a conversation with my boyfriend." "Ex-boyfriend," I corrected. "We'll see about that," she said, then looked around the shop with this disgusted expression. "No wonder you couldn't keep me happy. Look at this place." The shop went dead quiet. You could hear a pin drop. These guys are like my brothers, and she just insulted all of them. Frank's voice got real low. Ma'am, you've got 10 seconds to get off my property before I call the police. She huffed, turned to me, and said, when you come to your senses and realize what you've lost, don't expect me to take you back easily. You'll have to earn it. After she left, the shop was quiet for about 30 seconds. Then Jake goes, bro, you dodged a whole-ass missile. Frank gave me the rest of the day off with pay. Said anyone who could walk away from that kind of disrespect had his respect. The guys took me out for beers after work, and we had a good laugh about her earning it comment. Diego thinks she's panicking because rent is due next week. The apartment is $2,400 first month, and her take-home is maybe $3,500. Without my half, plus her car payment, student loans, and credit cards, yeah, the math ain't mathing. But that's not my problem anymore. Update 2 Reddit. The entitlement escalation is real. Grab your popcorn. So remember how I mentioned she'd have trouble with rent? Well, the first of the month came and went, and boy did things get spicy. It started with an email to my work email. Subject line, we need to discuss financial obligations. I'm not kidding. This woman really sent me an invoice, an actual invoice. For my share of December rent, $1,200. Utilities owed, $150. Emotional damages, $500. Inconvenience fee, $350. Total, $20,200. She literally itemized her attempt to bill me for breaking up with her. My coworker Jake printed it out and hung it in the break room. It's become a shrine of sorts. I didn't respond, obviously. But then came the voicemails to my work phone. She can't call my cell since she's blocked. Each one more unhinged than the last. Voicemail 1. Hi, it's me. I'm sure you got my email. Please process the payment by Friday. We can discuss reconciliation after you've fulfilled your obligations. Voicemail 2. Ignoring me is really immature. Marcus from accounting saw how you treated me and said a real man wouldn't abandon his financial commitments. Voicemail 3. I'm going to have to move to a smaller apartment because of you. Do you understand what you've done? I'll have to downgrade my lifestyle. Yeah, apparently having to live within her means is my fault. But wait, it gets better. Yesterday, she sent her mother to my buddy Diego's apartment. This woman knocked on the door at 7 a.m. on a Saturday. Diego answered in his boxers, half asleep. Her mom, Patricia, is there with a whole prepared speech. I'm very disappointed in you. Veronica told me everything. How could you abandon her over a silly text message? She was just venting to her friend. Everyone says things they don't mean. Diego, absolute legend that he is, just said, Lady, I don't know you, but your daughter said she was settling for him until she could monkey branch to some dude with a Tesla. That ain't venting, that's planning. Patricia tried to push past him to get to me, but Diego's 6'3" and works construction. He just stood there like a wall. She threatened to call the cops for harboring her daughter's property. What property? Diego asked. Her boyfriend. Diego just laughed and closed the door. But the real kicker came last night. I get a text from an unknown number with screenshots of Veronica's Instagram stories. She's at some fancy cocktail bar with Kelsey and some other girls, posting things like, when toxic people remove themselves from your life, blessed, upgrade incoming. A real man wouldn't run from a conversation just saying, New year, new standards. If he doesn't have ambition, he's not for me. The last picture? Her posing with some dude who I'm assuming is Marcus. Caption, sometimes the universe removes the wrong people to make room for the right ones. Here's the thing though, my ex-coworker's girlfriend was at that bar and saw the whole thing. Apparently, after taking those photos, Marcus left with another woman, and Veronica spent the rest of the night crying into her overpriced martinis while Kelsey tried to console her. The mutual friend who sent me the screenshots said Veronica was telling everyone I was abusive for looking at her phone and financially abusive for not paying her bills after we broke up. She's actually telling people I owe her money because she was counting on my half of the rent. The audacity is just, nah, I won't say it, but you know. Oh, and remember that invoice she sent? She CC'd her mother on it. Her mother, who apparently thinks this is all perfectly reasonable behavior. I'm starting to understand why she's single at 27, despite being, as she likes to remind everyone, a catch. Meanwhile, I'm looking at studio apartments downtown. Found a nice place for $1,100 a month, way closer to work. My commute would go from 45 minutes to 10. Funny how much money you save when you're not subsidizing someone else's champagne lifestyle on a beer budget. Final update. Alright Reddit, this is probably my last update because I'm ready to close this chapter for good. But man, what a way to end it. So I moved into my new place last week. It's small, but it's mine. Set up my gaming rig, hung some art, even got a plant. It's still alive. Mom would be proud. I was finally feeling settled when the universe decided to serve up one last course of karma. I was at the grocery store, just buying normal stuff, when I run into Qley. She's in the cereal aisle looking rough, hair in a messy bun, sweatpants, the whole nine. She sees me and freezes. "Oh hey," she says. I just nod and keep shopping, but she follows me. "Look, I know you probably hate me, but can we talk for like 2 minutes? Against my better judgment, I stopped. 2 minutes. Veronica she's lost it, like completely lost it. She's been staying with me for the past week because she got evicted. She couldn't make rent. I shrugged. Not my problem. I know, but she's been telling everyone you're the devil incarnate. She told Marcus you were abusive, that you stole money from her, that you cheated. None of it's true, right? You read the texts, Qley. You know exactly what happened." She looked down. "Yeah, look, I encouraged her. The whole upgrade thing. I thought it was just girl talk, you know? Like when you complain about your man but don't really mean it. Except she did mean it." "Yeah." She paused. "Marcus blocked her, by the way. Turns out he's engaged. He was just flirting at the holiday party because he was drunk. When she showed up at his office with coffee and wearing, well, not work-appropriate clothes, HR got involved. She got written up for creating a hostile work environment." I'll admit I laughed. "Seriously?" "Dead serious. But it gets worse. She's been bragging to everyone about her rich new boyfriend who was going to take her on trips and buy her things. Told her whole family about him at Christmas. When they found out the truth, her dad called her delusional, her own dad. Still not my problem, Qley. I know, I'm not asking you to do anything. I wanted to apologize for my part in it. I hyped her up about finding someone with more money, and I shouldn't have. She had a good thing with you, and I helped convince her she deserved better. But better isn't always about money, is it? I just looked at her. No, it's not. She nodded and started to walk away, then turned back. She's been stalking your LinkedIn, by the way. Saw you got promoted to lead welder. The 20K raise probably stings extra hard now that she's couch surfing. I'd forgotten I'd updated that. Yeah, Frank promoted me 2 weeks ago. Turns out showing integrity and self-respect goes a long way in the trades. Who knew? But here's the real kicker. Remember Patricia, her mom? She sent me a Facebook message last night. Not to apologize, oh no, to ask if I'd consider giving Veronica another chance, because she's learned her lesson, and sometimes people need to lose something to appreciate it. She actually said, and I quote, "You two were so good together." She just got confused by social media and her friends filling her head with unrealistic expectations. She knows now that a good, stable man is worth more than a flashy one. I didn't respond, but the fact that her own mother is now calling me the good, stable man, her daughter fumbled, that's rich. The last I heard through the grapevine, Veronica is working 2 jobs to try to save up for a deposit on a new place. She's been posting motivational quotes about rising from the ashes and building her empire. Meanwhile, she's sleeping on an air mattress in Qley's living room and taking the bus because she couldn't afford her car payment. As for me, I'm doing great. My new place is walking distance from this bomb Vietnamese restaurant. I've been teaching myself to cook with my grandma's recipes. Started hitting the gym again. Even went on a date last week with a woman who owns her own food truck. She actually laughed when I told her what I did for a living instead of looking disgusted. Life's funny, you know? Veronica wanted an upgrade so badly that she threw away something real. Now she's learning that settling isn't about the person you're with. It's about settling for less than you deserve in terms of respect, loyalty, and genuine connection. I deserved better than being someone's placeholder. And now I have it, even if it is just peace of mind and a studio apartment that's all mine. Thanks for following along on this wild ride, Reddit. Remember, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. and never, ever be anyone's backup plan. Stay strong out there. Edit, since a lot of you asked, yes, I kept the screenshots. No, I haven't posted them anywhere. I'm not trying to destroy her life, just live mine. The best revenge is moving on. Edit 2. To everyone asking about the food truck girl, we're taking it slow, but she makes incredible bond me and actually thinks my welding stories are interesting. That's already an upgrade in my book. Edit 3. Kelsey messaged me to say Veronica found this post. Apparently, she's consulting a lawyer about defamation. Good luck with that, considering everything I wrote is true, and I have receipts. Also, girl, you can't afford rent, but you're gonna pay a lawyer? Make it make sense.